MRF invited me to test their new tires on a racetrack, the Kari Motor Speedway, over the last weekend, and this is my story. Just checked into the room. It's a nice room. It's not as big as the YouTube next up, but I really like it. It didn't start so well. The flight was delayed. There was rain in Chennai. Not a cyclone though. There was a lot of turbulence and I don't really enjoy that. One of the guys lost his luggage. That's bad. It's not going that well. It's also raining. Give you my word, if they let me ride, I will ride it, rain or shine. Right now very hungry, so I have to go. All the secrecy was maintained for their brand new tire, the Masseter, and we were not even allowed to talk about it before their official release date, so I couldn't disclose it to you guys on my Instagram story from the racetrack. Of course, after the official launch, I disclosed the event in its full glory on my Facebook page, and here is the final version of the full video. Track about 20 kilometers distance from here. This is Munna.
Hello.
This is Prathamesh.
Hi.
And reverse, we've got Jeff on the front seat, and of course me.
Shit, forgot the guy behind.
Okay, there's another guy behind.
Anup.
Yeah. Just getting inside the track. I'm super excited.
We can drift.
So it's heating up. I just want to get back to the track. Just that's the objective. I'm just waiting for that to happen. Already in half of my gears. Remember guys, back protector whenever you're going to the track. The track conditions still wet. It was very hard rains last night, so we're expecting this to dry up in a couple of hours. Trying to show you those are the bikes that we'll be riding on track. Used to own an R15. For those who don't know, that was my first motorcycle. I've ridden that bike for 3 years, never ridden it on a track, always wanted to. We were flown down to Coimbatore to review the tire on track, but the question that should come to your mind is, how do you review a tire? Here are the 3 things that I looked at. Braking stability while entering a corner, mid-corner stability and feel, and out of the corner acceleration, and how the tire handled the sudden torque as you are exiting a curve. When I'm braking into the corner after the long straight, that is when the entire weight of the motorcycle goes to the front. A softer compound tire makes the bike hold its line, whereas a harder compound will make the bike waver around a bit and not inspire much confidence. However, every time I brake down the straight, the test motorcycle remained true and held its line. I was quite impressed, and the lead tester told me that Masseter offered similar levels of feedback and feel under hard braking. Possibly the most important aspect of the tire is the feedback or feel that it transmits back to the rider. While you're pushing your limit, the tire has to talk back to you. Every rider has different preferences, but for me, this is the main factor. The tire should give ample warning before it starts to slip, so that you can take evasive action before it's too late. Of course, it has to be planted through the corner, allow you to take the line you want, whereas the rear tire gives the stability for you to hang off the motorcycle. As I went in with the first lot of riders, I got a complete cold set of tires on a semi-dry track, which is a very challenging scenario for the tires. After they warmed up, I really liked how they felt. I had a word with Amit, who went on the third session with the fully warmed up tires, and with his skills, he could get much better result out of these tires. As you can see clearly how far these fully warmed up tires can be pushed when a skilled rider is on board. The third thing that I looked at is out of the corner acceleration. This depends entirely on the rear tire. When you get back into the power while exiting the curve, the tire has to handle the sudden torque and keep the bike stable. In this test, I felt the Masseters did their best, and as the lead MRF testers put it,
And Masseter has got an advantage that you can start accelerating from the late apex. Late apex is like once you pass on the exit, between your you are almost going to lift your bike. You have a point that where okay, I get the same confidence. Let me throttle up.
Always remember that a tire isn't reviewed on its own. The same tires would feel different on another bike with different frame or suspension setup. Before concluding this review, I must compliment the Yamaha R15 for its delta box frame and a riding position that lets the rider connect to the bike instantly. But I will keep it short and not get into the motorcycle reviewer mode this time. The rest of the day was mostly uneventful, apart from the fact that I got to meet Kartikeya Singhi, whom I follow a lot on YouTube.
Rahul, I've seen your videos.
He watches my videos. What? Soft. I starved myself at lunch just so that I could focus on the second session, but it rained and we couldn't get back to track. The conditions getting really risky and it wasn't really safe to ride. I still wanted to test out the wet grip, so I sneaked out to track to get at least 2 wet laps in. We're just gonna take those bikes before someone else gets them. Still, the rear was holding its line a lot better than the front. Following my outing on the track, I came back to my city, Kolkata, and asked the Facebook community to ask me any questions about the new tires, and I wanted to answer them in this video. You can pause and take a look at the answers if you're interested. To sum it up, the Masseter has 3 things: soft compound for far better overall grip and braking stability, rounded profile for larger contact patch during cornering, and deep cut grooves in new pattern makes better water channeling for better wet grip. Previously, we had problems with MRF's wet grip, and that was one of the biggest drawbacks. As I was talking to Saravanan, he also mentioned this. It's good that MRF has taken its time to put in the research and address the main issue with its tires, which has always been wet grip. Afterwards, I had fun working for the ad film, and if you see me on the ad, do let me know in the comment section. At the end of the day, I wouldn't call this a comprehensive review. This is just my first impression, and they have promised us to send us a set of tires for a long-term test. I am quite impressed from this short test and look forward to the next time riding on them. Subscribe if you want to stay updated on that story, and if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section below and I'll make sure I reply to them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon. This is Rahul. Goodbye.